Happy July. The Vancouver real estate market is kind of confusing right now, would you say? Well, in this video, I'm going to unpack a few things. I'm going to unpack mindset if I was making moves right now, what I would be purchasing if I was getting into the market right now, and why you should really care about real estate stats. If you want to know everything that's going on in the real estate market in Vancouver, subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications to be the first to hear what's going on. My name is Megan Becker, local realtor. My team and I get calls every day from people looking to make moves in the greater Vancouver area. So if you're considering making moves, all my info is in the description below. So please reach out. So real estate stats, why should you care? I was having a conversation with someone about this and I'd asked them, I was like, do you get value out of the stat videos that I post? And some people were like, oh, it's kind of relevant. And the conversation led to markets being very specific, which is very true, which is why I would encourage people in the conversation I'm having with buyers and sellers right now is you can't just rely on what you hear in the media about it's an up market, it's a down market, because those are all general terms, averages. And the market right now is hyper local. There are certain areas the prices are up. There's certain areas the prices are down. They're down for the most part right now, actually. There are certain areas that are down less than others. But it really, really depends. We're still seeing some multiple offers, seeing some inventory sitting. It's a really big mixed bag. But the reason at the end of the day why you should care about stats is because I know my stats. And if we're looking at working together, you want to make sure you hire a realtor that understands stats. Because let's play with the scenario. If we're working together and you're purchasing a property and you want to get a guaranteed deal, you want to submit a lowball offer, we need to have stats to back that up. There is a higher likelihood of that low ball offer coming together with a seller if we can back it up with stats. And that's what I always present with my offers. It's not just, hey, we're going off of sunshine and roses in our feelings and submitting this low offer, 100,000 under list. No, we're submitting this offer at this price. It is 100,000 over list, but here's the supporting data to transfer into why my clients think that this is a good offer. And that's why you should care about real estate stats, is you want to make sure that I know my real estate stats. So that's the biggest thing. Same thing on the selling side. We want to understand comparables, yes. We also need to understand, okay, are these true comparables? Is this 3-bedroom duplex a true comparable to this 3-bedroom duplex? Price per square footage, everything like that. Is the location the same? Comparables, different things can influence value upwards or downwards when looking at comparables. And so that's why you should care about stats. So as a whole, I'm sure that if you're watching closely to the market at any capacity, you're probably aware that prices have gone down here. And so if we just look at the stats as a whole, so this is the greater Vancouver area as a whole, sales are actually up 10% year over year. So a lot of that inventory, people are coming back in the market, and I'm working with a lot of buyers right now. It's a mix. There's some first-time buyers. It's a great market to purchase in. There's some downsizers. There's people relocating, things like that. It's a real big mix, which just goes to show, and what I share with a lot of people I'm working with is that, yes, it's important to understand what the market is doing, but base your decision to make your move based on your own personal circumstances. That's the biggest thing, because it's really tough to purely time the market. And so listings are actually down year over year. They're down about 3% since this time last year. And then across all categories, detached, attached, and then condos were all down. Detached are down about 7%, attached down 5%, and apartments down 7% year over year. And they're all fairly flat, a little bit of decrease since last month. Some of the outliers that you may be interested in are single family homes in Whistler have actually gone up 2% year over year. So if you've got a home to sell in Whistler, maybe a good time. Kitsilano, single families are only down 2% year over year. So that's a big difference versus the 7% average. Townhomes in Kits are actually up about 1% year over year. Townhomes in Fraser and Knight are up about 1 to 2% year over year. And then Yaletown condos are down 2% year over year. Fraser condos also down 2% year over year. So some ideas, if you've got any of those property types that you're looking to sell, it may be a better time. They're not, they're down a little bit, but not as much as a lot of the other areas. And I want to share with you this screen here because I brought it out when I was sitting down with a client, and he's looking at getting into the market, and he's just trying to. We had the timing conversation, and thinking about holding the property for about 3 to 5 years. And this was the graph that I brought up. The blue is single families, the red is townhomes, duplexes, and then the green is, and this is average sale price for property types here. And so you can see these pikes and these valleys. And if you look at something over a short period, let's take middle of 2015, if we go down and we sell, even 2017, we're seeing a decrease there. But that's the exact example that I shared with him, is that real estate wins in the long run. It's not a quick turn type of investment. And so what are the other strategies? If you need to relocate or you need to, get into a different property, what are the other options that, we could get into something, relatively inexpensive. You could live that for a few years. I said the best way is to buy something, add value to it, because a lot of those properties, the ones that need reno and need a little bit of love, those are the ones that are sitting on the market right now. Let's find something that, like an entry-level property, add some value to it, buy whole, live in that for a handful of years. And then if you really want to move up the property ladder, if you really want to relocate, then we keep this one as a rental, use some of the equity, help you move up to, a larger 2-bedroom townhouse or something like that. And so this was just that perfect graph of helping him understand, the peaks and the valleys. But if you zoom out on a macro lens, we're not holding properties for, 30 years or anything likely, but even on a 10-year time horizon, that's what I'm saying is, we want to hold this for at least, 8 to 10 years to see, especially in a market like this. And so the question, what would I be buying right now? If we're having the conversation around condos, so here's the quick condo scene in a nutshell. There is a lot of inventory. So if we're looking for a condo, whether it's a 1 or 2 bedroom, whatever that is, a couple things. We want to be hyper specific. We want to buy something with a unique, standout, unique factor, whether that's really great outdoor space, a prime location. So not something that's, looking out onto a viaduct or a bridge, or you've got, no view, or something, outdoor space, having a view, something with a well-maintained building. We want to dive into the strata docs. Older buildings aren't necessarily bad, and they're not necessarily something to stay away from, but we want to make sure that the major work has been done. And that's something that we would dive into, looking in the strata documents, taking a look even around the building, make sure that it's a good strata that you are buying into. But we want to make sure that we're not just buying those like long, narrow, you've got your balcony, this is the only natural light, cookie cutter that, in the event when you do come to sell, you're competing with a lot of other units on the market that are exactly the same as yours. So we want to buy something that is unique. Next thing, what would I be buying? If we're looking at townhomes, we're looking at something with a livable layout. That's one of the biggest things is, a lot of the townhomes have this long and narrow layout, which you got light at either end. And oftentimes those don't do super well. Sometimes you can get some small bedrooms. So the floor plan of a townhouse is what I'm focused on most. And having some type of outdoor space that's ideally a little private. That's not, here's your little outdoor patio, but here's a main busy road with traffic going along. And then if we're looking at any like multiplex, duplex, single family, I'm taking a look at the neighborhood. I'm getting a general lay of the land and seeing what other development is going on. Are we on major corridors? Is there going to be a lot of development in the area? If we're looking at new builds, I'm looking at the quality of the build. I'm opening up every cabinet. I want to see the quality. I've been shopping with a handful of clients right now for new builds, and that's exactly that. I want to know the quality of this builder, because unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff out there that I wouldn't be too excited about. Yes, it's new, but for being new, there's some questioning things about it. So in a nutshell, those are some of the things that I would be focusing on right now. And as always, I say, don't time the market, figure out what your goals, what your resources are. And if you want to have a complimentary, no obligation chat, I'm always here. Please feel free to reach out, book a Zoom call. If you don't make a move in the next year, we have a call now within the next couple of weeks. That is perfect. If I can help you at least put some things in perspective, give you an idea of how to organize and what things that you need to have in place in your life to make a move a year from now, that is exactly what I'm here for. I'm happy to have that conversation. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Share this with somebody that is looking at making moves and unsure about the market right now. And thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please reach out and we'll talk to you next month.